Hello again, and welcome to another Train Sim World video. And today, like it says on the description, I'm just going to be doing some random stuff on whatever takes my fancy. As you can probably guess from the way the screen's already set up with the blue box ready, I quite fancy a wee run on the GWR first. So let's see how much of this I've forgotten how to work. We'll just do a quick intercity, I think, to start. Services. Ooh. Fancy a run in the 43. I've not played with one of these in ages. I've not played this route in ages since the patch match. I think I did it maybe once or twice I've been down here. Yeah, might as well. In fact, let me just have a very quick look at something on the internet, which is right next to me. Right, so sign it. Sorry about that. Right, let's go to London, I think. Ah, shite, the head codes have changed. Not sure which one's the stopping services now. It used to be 1P going east and 1W going west, but they've the 1Ps have all gone, so there's not the 1Cs, is it? Or is it the 1L? Oh, bugger. Oh no, there's a 1P, right, okay. I don't recognise all these codes. Not to worry. It really doesn't matter. Maybe there weren't that many of those actually, the stoppers. As I say, it's been a very long time since I've played this, so... And I'm very quickly going to change my HUD setup when we go in as well, because I forgot to do that before we launched. Settings. Off. Fine. So as long as you're underway within about a minute or so, you're okay. AWS on, DSD on, headlights to day. How's that signal? That's fine. What have I forgot? What have I forgot? I've forgotten something. That's it, that's it. And... oh, aye. Right, so we've got a green signal, we can just get underway. I still feel like I've forgotten to do something. I don't know what it was. In fact, I can get rid of that as well, because you can actually read the dials on this thing, that's fine. Okay, so 16 miles won't actually take that long to cover, because once this thing gets wound up, it properly moves. Okay, so all things being equal, we just sit back and enjoy the ride as far as Slough now. Yeah, Slough now. Duh. So we're on to the 125 mile an hour stretch of the line, and that's pretty much the speed limit. Signals and what have you notwithstanding, more or less all the way to London. It's only a couple of miles outside that will be slowed down. And of course the only stop on the route will be at Slough. There's a few stopping services, and it's always either Slough or Maidenhead, I think is the other one that you might stop at. And if you're picking your service from the menu and you want one that has a stop, then for the class 43 it's any with a head code that starts 1P or 1W. 1W for the westbound trains and 1P for the ones travelling east. All the rest of them non-stops. The non-stops about 20 minutes maybe to do. And the stoppers slightly longer, depending on how long you have to wait at Slough for. And AWS and DSD both switched on, of course. And just keep an eye on the speed as it crawls up to well north of 100 miles an hour now. The absolute limit is 125, but you'll make good time holding it around 120. 125 is you don't really ever need to be going that fast. I've found you can usually travel with a couple of miles per hour in your pocket and still be well within the limits. We'll keep the power in for now, because it does take a wee while to get there. DSD just making sure that we're still awake. maybe get signals around Slough if there was any traffic just ahead of us. You sometimes do on these stoppers, other times you don't. DSD goes off every sort of, I think it's 45, 50 seconds or something like that. If you've not touched the controls, if you've... Okay, so just reacting to AWS there, because we passed the double yellow. So we'll just reduce speed. I'm going to take it down to 60 miles per hour, because I don't know what the next signal is going to be yet. Yeah, it's yellow. So let's just make a further reduction, because I can't see the damn thing yet. Get ourselves down to a sensible speed in case we do need to come to a full stop. And I can see danger signals up ahead, so we just very gradual, gentle, slow braking. In a perfect world, what you want to do is you want to reduce or crawl back here somewhere, and then you just want to keep, you want to creep 5-10 miles an hour. When you get closer, if you have to stop, then you have to stop, fair enough. But if you just creep like this very slowly towards the red, it means if it clears to a yellow for you and you're still moving, you've lost a lot less momentum. You can get up to speed again much quicker. Doesn't always work like that, of course, but... it depends how far ahead of time we're running and what it is that we're being held for and all sorts of things too. Got back in the cab just in time there. Noticed I was about to roll over the AWS magnet. If I hadn't responded, would have got the emergency brakes. It's one of the reasons I don't spend huge amounts of time outside the cab, because I've got all that stuff switched on. So I don't think we're going to get a clear signal. Oops, didn't mean to let them all the way out. Naughty, naughty. Right, so hopefully, unless there's something else happening, we should hopefully get a clear signal soon. You do sometimes have to wait for a wee minute or two, it's just the way it goes. There might be something else coming. But let's just have a quick... there we go. So there's something up ahead being held for... Yeah, there's another train coming through. Oh wow, there's quite a lot of stuff backed up down that line, okay. There's quite a lot going on here. So there's a freight train by the looks of it coming through, which should start releasing. Yeah, there's a green signal up there, not too far away. So what's happened is we've all got backed up waiting for a freight train coming through. We might be here for a wee minute or two. It should be about to appear around this corner here. Here it comes. Now what should be happening meantime is the trains in the signal blocks ahead of us should be one by one moving on. And as each block in front of us empties out, there we go, so that guy's moved on. And once he clears the one in front of him, we'll be released, so on and so forth. There we go, so we've been released under a yellow. And of course, as you pass a yellow, you have to be aware that the next one might be a red, so we're not going to be picking up any ridiculous amounts of speed here. Careful not to overload the engines as well. Of course, what I didn't do there that I should have was turn the DRA on as well, but never mind. So I can see, yeah, I think the yellow one might be for us. That's quite far away, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it's fine, we've got the yellow. Ages since I've been down here, so I'm not as familiar with it as I was at one time. So that's AWS going off, and the display comes on just to warn me, so we'll just hold this speed now. So it's gone to double yellow, which means that the next one can only be a single yellow at worst, it can't be red, so we'll pick the speed up a little bit, but not too much, because I still have to be prepared to slow down if it's a single yellow. It looks like it's actually a double, so as we get closer we'll just confirm that, and if it is we'll just pick it up a little bit. If you're seeing double yellows, then 60 miles an hour or so is fine. That should be plenty of time to react. Is that a double? Might be a single. It can be a bit difficult to tell the difference until you're right on top of the signal practically. I think that's a signal, a single rather. Yeah. So until I can actually see the signal ahead, I'll again just keep it at sensible speeds. Of course, this is about rush. This is peak time traffic, or the start of peak time that we're running in, so delays and what have you, not unusual, I think. I think it was an afternoon one I picked, was it? Yeah, so it's 4:45 in the afternoon, so it'll be quite a busy time on the network, I would think, around then. Certainly AWS again, there's certainly more traffic around than there was at launch, that's for sure. They've fixed that. So double yellow, I can take it back up to around 60 or so. I do like these ones where you get signals and things and you have to stop, because the non-stop straight throughs where you get greens all the way there. Yeah, it's cool driving the high-speed train at 125, but there's not much to do really, is there, between the two stations on those ones. Just because we're approaching a station we're not stopping at, and I can see a green signal down the line, so let's get the power on. I'm still going to be vigilant for the upcoming signals, because there did seem to be an awful lot of stuff up ahead. If you're behind the 166 in this beastie, you will eat up the distance between yourself and it fairly quickly. So 3 miles to run, we can keep picking it up. You can leave it till the last couple of miles, mile and a half to do most of your braking. Either that, or I'm going to discover that they've patched the braking model since the last time I played, and this is going to be a disaster. Either way. Was playing some rear Signord the other day after spending ages on main Spessart ban, and I'd gotten that used to the new one. I forgot how different the braking models were on them, and I got myself into all kinds of trouble. Stopped in the middle of the line when I shouldn't have been. Although it's cool coming back to these older parts of the game and sort of seeing how much it's come on and how much has been fixed. And so we'll just come off the power just now. What time are we due in? So ahead of time, or on time rather. Mile and a half to run. Probably leave it even later, to be honest. Okay, so down to about 30 mile an hour is a good speed to be doing as you enter the station. You're at 30 or below, you should have no problem stopping at all. The brakes are actually a little bit beefier feeling than they used to be. Even at maximum they used to be crap, they used to take ages to do anything. Just want to make sure I go right up to the end, because the early packs can be quite particular about where you stop. Right next to the sign. Yeah, still got it. Alright, so the stops aren't too bad here. It's the usual sort of minute or so, I think. I've never been to Slough, or I think I maybe passed through it once years ago, so I don't know how accurate all this is, but I assume it's more or less right. Okay, better get back in the cab now. Get ready to lock up. Okay, so next stop, London. Doesn't sound quite as noisy as it used to. I'm sure that it used to sound more, I don't know, I'm not sure how to describe it, just a bit beefier, a bit meatier. Maybe it's just me. Like I said, it's been ages. Mind you, I've got my audio a bit lower on this account than I do on my main one, so I can hear myself over the noise. It's a bloody loud game, this, usually. It's a bit earlier than I would normally put it up into the top notch, but let's get going. So the ones that stop at Slough are pretty good, because that means you're stopping more or less halfway along the line. The Maidenhead ones kind of break it into a 1/3, 2/3 run. Not that either way you have to spend particularly long between stations. It is such a fast train that once it gets up to full whack, you'll eat the miles. We'd love to see them extend this line a bit. Let's have a proper long, give us an actual route for the HST, not just a first leg of a trip. So pretty much all there should be between now and London is to acknowledge the DSD from time to time, and just trim the throttle as we get up towards top speed. And I've got a USB keyboard which I use as well, which is how I access some of the PC controls and the twin tone horns and things like that. You can work the horn from the this little thing here. Yeah, if I can get the click spot. But you can see it's quite awkward to use. Whereas if you've got a keyboard, just N and space. There you go. There's a little pro tip for you if you've not come across that one already. Don't know if it still is, but once upon a time I'm sure it was in the driver's handbooks that they were supposed to blat their horn if they were coming up at high speed to a station. They were going straight through. Remember them used to doing it. Yeah, remember them doing it years ago at a station I used to get a train home from work from at, and it was basically one of these sort of mainline station things that occasionally the intercity trains would come thundering through at full malky. Just giving the throttle a little nudge there because I didn't want to get caught by DSD because I can't hear it when I'm mucking around with the external cameras. That's why I don't use them a lot. So the speed's creeping up towards, we're starting to see a bit more traffic as we approach London. All the tea time traffic starting to head homeward bound as everybody leaves. It's just keep a wee eye on that speed there. It creeps up towards 125. I usually arrive in London with a couple of minutes in hand. Forgot that station was coming up until I was under the bridge. It's the repeater signal, the distance signal should have given me a wee clue. Not to worry, so I'm just going to lift the power out a little bit. A few miles further along and there will be speed limit reductions coming up. I do still have the little HUD component turned on for those. They will appear as I get close to them, because the trackside signage, while it is there, is absolutely crap. You can't really see it very well. It's useful as a braking point, but not really for telling you what your speeds are. Certainly not in a high-speed train, because you're sitting too high up and you go past the signs too far to be able to really make them out. The Class 66 you can just about do it, because you're never going fast enough in that to go blasting through them. So there you go, there's the counter coming in now for the speed limit. There are landmarks you can use to remind yourself it's upcoming. As you come through the stations at, what the hell are they called? There's 2 or 3 of them. I think it's around not Ealing, it's these ones here, I know what they're called, I just can't remember. That you see a church coming up on the right hand side. That's a good reference point for the 100 mile an hour zone upcoming. There it is there. Although losing 25 miles an hour doesn't take us that long. And then as you come through the station, as you pass the you pass this signal, need to think about losing the speed. but we don't need to lose very much, and we've got a fair way to run, so just gentle braking. You don't need to slam them on, or you shouldn't need to slam them on. And if you use the back of that signal with the diagonal bit on top, that's a signal for points and things. Use that as your sort of your reference point for hitting 100, because you can't see the sign at the side of the track. It's unless you know exactly where it is, it's really difficult to see. Bit easier to manage at these speeds now though, because you're not going so fast that you'll go thundering past it without noticing. But you do still kind of need to know where to look. But unlike the reduction to 100, the next one's guarded by AWS. And that's about a mile out from it. So again, if you don't have the distance debris on this bit, you're okay, you're covered for. So that's the AWS for the signal ahead, and then there'll be another AWS magnet up ahead that will run across. That one there, which is just to tell us that we've got a mile to run, and we've got a significant drop to make. So let's just get on the brakes. We'll make it comfortably. So unless you're responding to a signal, you shouldn't ever really need to be doing full service braking for anything out on the line. You can usually do your speed changes at 2 or 3 and still have plenty of time in hand. It's not a commuter train, it's not designed to be driven super aggressively. So the signpost is actually on where the catenary kind of ends down here. It's just before the signal. But it was quite a big, obvious one that we went past there, not like the tiny little ones further back. I don't think it's even that they're that small, I think it's just that you go past them that quickly that you're like, phoom. Oh, didn't see it. Sorry officer, I was going too fast. And it's 50 miles an hour from here pretty much most of the way in. I think there's like a 40 and then a 25, but both are virtually within sight of Paddington Station. And we should pass the signpost telling us there's a reduction to 40 up ahead. We've just gone past. They're out of sync with the HUD because those are sort of advanced warning signs behind us. Again, if you know what they mean and you know where to look for them, by all means drive to them. And the reduction is somewhere up beyond, it's up around the next signal. Or just before it, you can see the signposts at the track side there. Close enough. And then the next reduction to 25 as we pull in. Easy peasy. And we'll get AWS as well because of the yellow ahead. You got a couple of seconds to respond to that as well. That was probably earlier and more aggressive than it needed to be, but not to worry. Wonder how I'm doing for time. Yeah, more or less okay. brakes and the power, excuse me, are very sensitive on this as well. So you have to be, excuse me, coughing a wee bit here. Right, so you do have to be quite gentle on the trigger and the shoulder buttons if you just want to do incremental braking like that. It's really easy to just suddenly go, you know, just to tap the button and suddenly you're in full service. Particular to this train as well. It's very few of the other ones seem to be quite so sensitive to the control inputs. Right, so we actually made it in half a minute early. I'm just waiting for this to finish because I can't remember if I need to shut the doors manually. Some DLCs the activity finishes when the timer there finishes. Others you have to actually close the train up to complete it, and I honestly can't remember which of those GWR does. Yeah, it wants me to lock the doors. Okay. Wonder what time it goes back at. Tail lights. And what else do I need to remember that I had turned on up here? Oh yeah, need to remember to turn the safety. You're switching in, you need to remember to turn the safeties off in the cab that you've just been in. Let's take a notch down the other end, see what time. Oh, see what time this one leaves at. If it's ages and ages and ages, then no danger. $17.33. Oh no, we're not sitting for half an hour waiting on that going. Okay. What shall we do next? What shall we do? I think, yeah. See if there's something fairly short we can do on this. I don't want to do... I'm not doing the full route because it takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do in the 101. It's long. But if there's a nice little local service, I would consider it. There's maybe some leads to Huddersfield. That's still quite a stretch. I'm just trying to see where I'd say it's about a third of the line leads to Huddersfield. And then back again. How far is Marsden? Right, so that's about 2/3 of the way down. That's maybe a bit on the far side. Okay. Right, if you bear with me a wee moment though, folks. I need to get my copy of the manual for this in front of me. I know. But I can't remember all the switches and buttons on this thing. I just want to quickly refresh my memory, because I don't want to be scrambling about. You've not got tons and tons of time to get underway if you want to keep to the timetable, so I need to do the setup fairly fast, which means I want to know what I'm doing. 101. Yeah. Right. This might be a bit messy because I've not done this for a while, and I'm going to turn the signal aspect part of the HUD back on as well, partly because I've not driven the route enough to know it off by heart, and partly because there's a couple of sections where there seems to be missing distance signals, because I've been chucked from a green straight into a red a couple of times, and there's just no way on earth that you can stop the train from line speed in the time it gives you. And that's, I'm pretty sure, not right. There should be distance signals in there somewhere. Can't even remember the name of the place where it tends to happen, but I don't think we're going that far down the line actually. Right, so I need to unlock the doors first, and then a bit of a speed setup here. Marker. Let's just nosh down to the back cab. Okay, and back to the front cab. Closey, and if I remember rightly, not the brake lights, the train lights. Right, unless I've forgotten it, something really bloody obvious, we should be okay to go. Alright, we're moving, awesome. Well, that's what I said I was going to turn on as well, wasn't it? I do apologise. Right, there we go. Yeah, Super Sprinter, it's really fun to drive this, I have to admit. It's very hands-on, really like it. Definitely one of my favourites. Sounds the business as well. I've not bothered turning AWS on because obviously it's not. It's pointless. It's not activated anywhere along the line, so really no use having it active. Ooh, naughty, naughty. First stop could be interesting though, because I haven't used vacuum brakes in a while. Definitely one of the best looking DLCs as well, that's for sure. Okay, so I think one more junction to go through and then it's fairly quick run into the station. Use 10 mile per hour on the self-lap on. Ah, yeah, the vacuum braking, it's there's definitely an art form to that, man. It's not something I'm particularly brilliant at, that's for sure. Right, so far so good. Of course, for no DSD, at least it means I can spend a bit of time in the externals, which I can't really do with all the toys turned on. Something I almost never get to do on the German routes. And of course, with the PZB and all that kind of jazz, it's kind of refreshing not to have all those gadgets. Complicated yet simple. Whereas we've maybe described some of the modern European trains in the game the other way around, simple but complicated. dead simple when you understand how everything goes together, but lots of little components you have to remember. Whereas with this, it really could not be mechanically much simpler, and yet it's very, very demanding to get it right. Right, I think you can leave the... No, I don't know, I can't remember how late you can leave the braking actually. Find out just how bad my braking skills have gotten with this, with these vacuums. Okay, less than a mile now, so we're going uphill though, so I should be okay. Hey, Spartan Nick, how you doing, mate? Welcome. Just about to embarrass myself thoroughly with vacuum brakes that I've not used for a very long time. Okay, so half a mile. I'm just going to back it out there now. Yeah, let's start. Get rid of some of this speed. Okay, so it's actually... yeah, it's okay, it's not too bad. That could have been much worse. Well, not stopped yet though, mind you. Meh, not bad for a first attempt. Neither end's hanging over either, that's a bonus. MSB, yeah, I'm taking a wee break from MSB, man, before I burn myself out on it. Thanks. That went a lot better than I thought it was going to. Right, it's, I'm even running a teeny bit ahead of time. I won't be by the end though, guaranteed. I should have pre-released those as well. No such thing as health and safety when this was built, so you can actually have the brakes more or less all the way off before it's even actually doors closed and time to go. No. This actually is one of the reasons that I've not done a huge amount of streaming from NTP, because so much of it is spent in these tunnels with literally nothing to see or do. Even turning the cab light on and you've got the inside of the cab to look at, I guess, but they wouldn't actually turn that on in real life. They would just go through it in darkness, let their eyes adjust to the darkness, so you could see the signal lights and stuff in distance. So it should really just look like that, but that's doesn't really make for a thrilling watch, I'm sure. Because going up and down a railway line does, under any circumstances, done it, yeah. Ah, we love it, really. Oh no, better not press the engine stop, eh? So, see, these tunnels are quite long as well. You spend so long inside them. The lights they're just enough to basically reflect off mileposts or things like that as you go past them, and nothing else. Quite like the sort of the dust effect on the window and what have you. That's nice. Sometimes you think you're coming up to the end of the tunnel and then the next half mile spawns in. You know, oh. Rapid transit. See, I like rapid transit. I really do like rapid transit. The problem I've got with it is that PZB doesn't work, and it just, I know that sounds really like, well, I suppose snobby to say that, ooh, too easy without it. It just feels strange driving without that turned on, but it's bugged, and it doesn't work. It will stop the train several times where it shouldn't. It just, I don't know. I do like the route, and the train is really fun to drive, I'll give it that. But I don't know, I prefer the other two German routes in the game, I guess. Maybe I will do something with that. It's the problem is as well is there's not any really short routes to do. There are only 2 or 3 variations on the same thing, and I think I have actually done 1 or 2 of them before. No, there's a 500 hertz magnet that comes on the northbounds just before you get to the tunnel, and there's nothing you can do about it. And under certain circumstances, you will get penalty applications when you shouldn't, because the magnets don't quite match up with the signals. There's a couple of threads about it on Dovetail's forums, and the developers have basically said, yeah, we know these things don't work, but we would have to reprogram the entire system. So if you've had it working without any problems whatsoever, then that's good. But it sounds like you've maybe just not come across the services that are affected, which is quite a lot of them. I've certainly never been able to do a northbound run with it turned on without a penalty application just south of the Leipzig tunnels. It doesn't matter what the signal head's at. It gets confused as hell as well. There's some services where you leave just behind another train from, I forget the name of the station, but if it's just ahead of you going through the tunnels, you get penalty applications when you should just be getting 1000 hertz magnet. It doesn't happen every single run, but if you do enough of them, you will come across it eventually. You can do perfect runs. I have done 1 or 2 of them. Southbound you can get perfect runs if the signals go in your favour, but northbound almost never goes without that stop. I can't honestly remember the names of them, Nick. I've not played it for quite some time. What's the next station? Dewsbury. I don't think this is a particularly long run. I'll have a look at the timetable once we've done this. I'll remember it when I see it. Thing is, the Talent 2 is actually a really nice train to drive. I really like it. It's another one of these. I find the German passenger trains to be like almost sports carish compared to all the other trains. They accelerate like, you know, a cat with a rocket up its chuff, and they brake like Formula 1 cars almost. It's crazy. I'm not gonna lie, do like tempo map. Have to go. Oh, nice. I'm in the wrong job, mate. I get to drive a desk all day. It's shite. Oh, station! Nah, we're going through it, we're going through it. Ah, balls. Oh, well. Hope your braking's better than mine, mate. Have a good night. I'll see you again soon, hopefully. Oh. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that bloke's not on a register somewhere. Nothing to see here. Ah, okay. Ah, well, in that case, listen, if I'm getting complimented on my stops from an actual train driver, I'll take that. It's just a shame the one right after it was absolute wank. To the Hague, oh, cool. I went there with my school once, school trip years and years ago. This must be like a busman's holiday for you then, playing this game. Oh, here I'm still in reverse, haven't I? Oh. Jeez, oh. Right, let's get going. Never ever have any of these problems when I do my dry runs off stream. Yeah, probably a good thing I'm not an actual train driver. I think this is actually every station between Leeds and Huddersfield that we're doing. Right, okay, so get ready to slow down this time. going to be miles behind schedule by the time I get to the end of this. I always am with these. I can do it with I can just about do it usually with the actual Trans-Pennine Expresses, but God, I suck with these vacuum brakes. It's not that I don't know how to use them, it's the problem is just sort of getting used to how much force you need to apply and what have you. I always seem to either have too little or far too much. 500 yards still to run, and I could have been going much quicker. Really should play this this line a bit more often. Mind you, it's 1983, it's British Rail, it's not supposed to be on time. Oh, too late again. Sod it, I'm unlocking the doors here, they can walk the rest of the way. Should probably practice with these things more off stream before I try doing this. It's so different to all the other trains in the game as well. It'll probably take a few hours just to get comfortable with it. Okay, just maybe a bit too early. Try leaving it a bit later for the brakes this time as well. Let's see how we get on. Or a bit later for the initial braking at least, because it was way too early there. Ooh, got a yellow coming up as well, which obviously I wouldn't actually be able to see yet, but useful to know about. Okay, so no, in fact I'm not going to do that just yet because half a mile to go. Okay, so we're already a minute late. Oh, gold. I don't like not being good at this. some of these platforms are much shorter than others as well, so sometimes you think that you've got loads of room to stop once you reach the platform, and other times you've got very little time at all. I might not even be all the way on. Are we all the way on? Yeah, we're all the way on. Right, let's just get the brakes released most of the way, but not quite all the way. It'll not take quite as long to release them when the doors lock. Okay, so let's get ready to go. Oh, gears. Always forget that. Right, not sure how much further there is to go, to be honest. Right, so I'll try leaving it a wee bit later again this time to brake, see if that we can do it a wee bit more efficiently, like. And that's not missing textures or a graphical bug on the left. That is because in the 1980s the UK railway network still bore quite a lot of the scars of some pretty savage cuts about 20 years earlier. Huge stretches of the line where you could see these old lines next to existing ones, and torn up branch lines and things like that. And it's only really in the last 20 years that a lot of that's been tidied up. So for once, looks like a graphical bug in a Dovetail game, but actually it's meant to be like that. So again, I think I'm being a bit too early maybe with the brake in there. Somebody said to me before, it's about 10 mile per hour every 100 yards from 50 or thereabouts. Way too much. Right, that's better. Ish. Oh, we're up a tree. Not here for very long. Even all this like abandoned crap just at the end of the... Yeah, it is very very accurate. I grew up quite close to a railway line, and that is so true. All the shit you used to find lying at the side of them. Right, so it's the last station next. Not going to be on time quite, I don't think, but nah, not to worry. Could have been worse for a first go in ages. Keep forgetting I need to change gears in this thing. Oops. Not go too fast because we are operating under yellow signals. one of these ones where you oh no, we're going up to the end, that's fine. Sometimes it sort of makes you stop, kind of you have to stop right in between two signals and you've got not very much room to do it, but not this one. Made it all the way on there, did I? Yeah, yeah, close enough. It's the wee Diddy train. Okay. I was within the, I think it's 3 minutes you've got or something like that to play with. 53, nah, I'm not waiting for 45 minutes. You could in theory sit here and wait for the time to come and drive it back if you want to. Some routes are much better for doing that than others on and some services as well. Okay, I've been sitting sitting here for quite a while, talking for quite a while. My throat's dry. I need to pee. So I'm going to go and get a drink, have a quick break, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes or so. Okay, I'm back. Comfortable, I'm refreshed, I'm ready to go again. Right. So, what next? What next? Okay, so we've done Great Western and Transpennine. So we've had 2 in a row from the UK network. Let's do something a little bit different. I think. Bit of rapid transit, maybe. Yeah, not done this for ages. What do I need to do? I know what I need to change. Oh, go away. Always get this, always, apologies for that. It's something to do with the store screen that they've put into the game now. If you flick past it, it takes you to a system menu screen, and it's annoying. Really wish that was not in the game. However, it is, and there's not a lot that can be done about it. So, other than me moaning and bumping, it's not going to change anything. Right. Still dicks for putting that in there, though. Yeah, let's make it a dull and rainy day in Leipzig. Can't remember what stations are what. What are the ones that don't go quite this? So, Magdeburg's at the top of the line, innit? Yeah. Ages since I've driven this as well. Right, so we'll go from Conowitz up to Magdeburg. So that's the kind of the cool bit with all the tunnels, and then the really fast bit. Now let's see what I forget to do starting this thing up, because this is another one I've not played with for a long time. Right, so right hand side doors. I can't remember where any of the switches and buttons are on this thing. That's the passenger lights. Oh, I remember what I want to do. So I want ZFA. I'm not turning PZB on because it doesn't really work very well on this line, and frankly it's more a pain in the ass than it's worth. I also can't remember where any of the buttons are in the cab, so I'm just going to cheat and use my keyboard, I'm afraid, for some of this. Why am I still in miles per hour as well? I thought I changed that. Check. Off. Right, that's better. Can't remember if I can change any of these or... Oh yeah, you can. Don't think the brightness controls or anything like that work on them. No. Right, just about time to go. Okay, so there's a speed reduction coming up. If I come across signals and what have you, I'll still stick to the speed limits and usually I would as if PZB was on. I don't have it actually activated because it occasionally comes on when it shouldn't, and it's just a pain in the arse all around. Probably braked quite late, quite a bit later there as well actually. See, going from those vacuum brakes to comparatively powerful electrical ones again is it's quite jarring. So it's a 4-car unit that we're driving as well. I made all my bags of room. I think it's a 4-car, is it a 4? Yeah. 6-car even, though. I knew what I meant. So at this stretch here, if I have BZB turned on, I'll get stopped even though it's a green signal. Whatever you do. And there's other bits where if the signal's anything except green, you're screwed because the magnet's not where it should be. The waiting times do feel quite long as well. Yeah, they did both close, that's fine. It's just a series of very short hops now through the tunnels. The stations, the next 4 stations are only about a kilometre apart each at most. And you just need to remember the first one that you approach at either end, you're coming down a pretty steep slope as you do, so that much I do remember. So vigorous braking for the first station at either end might be called for. Yeah. There's the wiper control there. I don't need them on in the tunnel, I don't think. What does that one do? I can't remember what half these switches even do, where half my controls are on this. It's terrible. Oh, yeah, you can pull the blinds down on these as well. Oh, I forgot how long the stop times were on this. Okay, so it's not even 800 metres to the next stop. Nice and simple. Basically, as long as the signals let you, you basically bounce it off the speed limit and then back down again. That was a bit better. Not actually keeping an eye on finish what times I should be arriving though, so I'm not sure if I'm already running a little bit late or not. We've been... Oh, camera spawns into the scenery sometimes and it's... bloody annoying when it does that. Let's have a wee look. The stations are kind of cool though. I mean, each one of the 4 stations does look totally different to the other ones. I think that's partly why they've... One of the things that they made them choose this route is there's character to it. This one's all very space agey feeling, and then there's one that's all wood, and there's one that's fantastic, all multicolours, and then there's a sort of just a traditional looking stone station. It's pretty cool. I like driving through here. And of course, once you get north of the city, there's long, fast stretches of 100-mile-per-hour line. Oh, lock me doors. Oh, it's not that. Trying to work the brakes with the left-hand paddles there. This is the only German train in the game that's a single handle. This is my favourite one. I think this one looks really cool. Okay, let's see. Am I still hanging out the back? Oh, I just made it. BR182. Ah, I have seen that. Yeah, I saw something about that. I'll buy it if they fix PZB. Otherwise, I probably won't. I should have switched it back on just before I came into these tunnels and shown you the magnet I'm talking about, because I've just been past it. And the override button doesn't work either. I've tried going over it with the override pressed. Okay, so 11:42, so I'm kind of a little bit behind time. I like using the tempomat on this once you get out into the countryside as well. That's good. Click spots are so frustrating sometimes. One stream together. I'm not sure I understand, mate. Sorry, what that's asking. Right, let's get going. And we're off. Right, it's got a nice wee run to the next station now. I don't know how that would work, because I do it straight through my PlayStation, man. I'm not, can you hook other things in together like that when you're doing it straight off the console? I know that if you're doing it through your PC and things, you can join up via various bits and bobs. I'm as low tech gets. I tell you what, I'll have a wee think about that and let me. I'll consult my technical expert, my 16-year-old laddie who knows much more about the machines than I do. Right, where are we going? I think there's a break in the power line down here somewhere as well. Okay, so speed reduction to no more than 100 coming up, but we're also approaching the station. We'll leave it a bit fat now. We'll been a bit too early with the brakes again, I think. The thing I need to keep reminding myself with the German trains is that if they're running on a line that has PZB on it, they have to be able to stop from 160 km within a kilometre. So the brakes are actually pretty bloody good on most of them. Although the Talent 2 sometimes feels like it slows down really fast and then takes ages just to shed that last 5 or 6 kilometres per hour. Tell you what I'll do as well though, because I didn't know you were actually a streamer as well. I'm going to start subscribing to channels with this account as well. Oh Christ, I hardly ever use it on the laptop that I've got next to me. Right, one eye on train sim and one eye on my screen. Okay. Ah, you do Ghost Recon as well. Right, I'm going to take my eye off the internet and back on the train. I got that in a sale about 3 or 4 months ago. I played it once for about 20 minutes and never got back into it again, but might reinstall that at some point. One of my sons plays it. It tells me it's very good if you like that kind of thing. I kind of got burnt out on open worlds though for a while. Played too many of them. Okay, so we can just cruise along with the tempomat now. That's fine. It's not going to be much point in us going too much faster because almost as soon as we hit that 160 zone, we're going to be braking for Leipzig Messe. Wrong brake lever. Ugh. What are we doing for time? More or less on time. I can't remember how strict this is about your stopping distances. Some of them are really strict that you have to be on top of where the marker would be. Others give you a bit of slack. This one's going to give us plenty of room. NEC, I remember, insists that you at least pass it. In fact, a couple of them on NEC, you have to park it about 70 or 80 yards further into the station or the back two coaches are hanging off. Right, let's have a look outside again, and hopefully we're not caught on the scenery. I don't know why it does that in the tunnels. It's cool if they got these the destination strips and stuff working as well. If you look through the destination board on main Spessartbahn, all the locations from this route are also programmed into the list you can scroll through. So it's almost like they're planning to roll that out. All the rear sig locations are on it as well, and a few that we haven't had yet, I noticed. Right, let's get going. Speed up, and then we'll pop the tempo mat on. Tempo mat, more or less the same as AFB. Similar principle, except you hand complete control of the throttle over to the train. It's not the semi-manual system that AFB is. Okay. So once the tempo mat's in, you can reduce the power as long as there's some power. Just put it back to minimum, and as long as there is some power on the lever, then tempo mat will supply the traction system with all it needs for the speed you set. And putting your power back down there to 1 means that if you suddenly need to brake, you don't have to pull it all the way back, which probably not an issue in the real thing, because you can just literally grab it, yank, but obviously it moves at a set speed under your PlayStation controller. So speed limit for this unit is 160 regardless of the line speed. Obviously giving myself my usual 5k or so cushion as well. And unclench. Pretty quick running for the rest of the way, and there's a few stations when you're driving the double header like this, you miss a few of the stations out, so you do get quite a nice fast run up to the north end of the line. I do actually really like this line. I think I might drive it a bit more often, because it does sometimes feel a wee bit deserted, I think, compared to the later ones. Epic long waiting times again as well. Division, hello mate, welcome. Can you do the 1220? The 1220 on, you mean on rapid transit? I'm probably just gonna, in fact, this is, to be honest, this is like the third one in a row I've done. So I'm not sure what how much more I'm gonna do after this. We'll see when we get to the end. What time is it? Oh, crikey. Right, it's a nice long run to the next stop, 10 kilometres, and I think the last signal I saw was alright. Okay, we'll just get some momentum up, and we'll whack the tempo mat on, sit back, put our feet up, and have a smoke till we get there. I don't think I need the I think I need the cab lights on at all now, do it? In fact, we'll just put the tempo mat on now, and just use the click switch to put the speed up. We'll just put the power handle back to ready, so if we need to brake, we're good. Yeah, it was weird. There's we lost the power there. It's like there's a break in the catenary overhead or something there. That was odd. I'd forgotten about that. There's a couple of bits like that on the northeast corridor as well. On the northbounds, there's a break in the catenary as well, which is, you'll notice your head end power lights go out if you've got it turned on. Just before you reach, what the hell's the name of the station up at the top end again? New Rochelle. It's the big thing you notice going from the newer routes like Ruersig or Main Spessart, going back to the old ones like this, is just how many niggly little things are wrong with them. It would be nice if they went back and fixed them, and I will moan about that every time that I talk about them. Not that they're paying any attention to me, of course, but I paid my money, god damn it. Nice. Definitely doesn't take as long to get to grips with one of these again as it does with those, those vacuum brakes. I was struggling so badly with those. Oh, texture ripping up through the middle there. It's such a shame, because right next to it you see like all this beautiful detailing and love and care, and then it's ruined by this scrappy crap right next to it. And they're all minor things, I know, but they've proved they can do these without making these mistakes, because they've done it since. I think at least if they're going to bring out a locomotive they want us to pay for, they should fix it. But... Right, anyway, driving a train, let's go. Happy train driver. Or something. Right, shut up. For anybody who's been following that most crucial of debates on British tabloid news sites this week, it is two chuggers before the choo-choo, and anyone else who says otherwise is a liar. This has got another nice long stretch between stations. Let's just slap the tempo mat on. Should be us until we need to brake. Yeah, I think one of the signals around Petter's Roda is one of the ones that has a rogue PZB magnet somewhere as well. So if this happens not to be all clear, the secret timers, they actually start long before you think they have, because the magnet's not in the right place. It's back next to one of the distance markers somewhere, I think, if I remember rightly. That's months ago since I read the story about it. But we seem to be getting all greens anyway, so... that tends to happen more often than not on RT. Okay, let's get rid of that speed. Very, very slight downhill, but it shouldn't really make any difference to us. train arriving. Hey. Get all excited when you see another train coming on this route because you see so few of them sometimes. Again, something else you notice coming back, like moving forward to the newer ones, certainly the newer German ones are much busier, feeling much more, they feel more like working railways than virtual train sets, I think was what I said before. If I've got another 30 seconds, but we'll just, fuck it, we'll just close the doors anyway. Nah, you're not getting on. Oops. I've probably done this in the station, but never mind. Nearly, that's what I get. Okay, so we're better than halfway there, and we're on the fastest section of the line. Because we skipped the shorter platforms out as well, we're not going to stop every station. Yeah, let's just pop that on. Oh, didn't come on. Why did it not come on? We'll just, I think we'll brake. I'm not sure Tempomat's up to the job of doing a speed reduction like that. In fact, that would have been a PZB required anyway, so I would have been braking under normal circumstances. That's actually one of the places that it works properly as well. I'm pressing my PZB button as I go over it, I habit. Close enough. You know, I wonder what that is over there. That's like a solar panel farm. That's cool. Building yard or something there. Where is this Bitterfeld? Right. No time to muck about this time. Not that far to go either. And I don't think there's any really fast bits left after this. Not any really long ones anyway. Oh, and I'm getting warnings about my internet quality, so it might disappear. The stream might go, I'm afraid. I'm not sure what's happening there. We've been having problems with the broadband in this area recently, so if it drops out and dies, I'm really sorry. The warning has disappeared, so hopefully it'll stay with us. Maybe it's gone a bit grainy, I don't know. I can't... There's not much we can do about that. I'm afraid it's a problem with the local service. Okay, so there is a 140 stretch north of Greppen, but I don't think it's that long. Maybe just a wee bit too enthusiastic with the braking there. This is almost the shortest platform apart from the ones in the underground. I think there's still actually plenty of room to get all 6 cars on. Oh yeah. There's not tons in it, but it's not that difficult to be careful with it to line it up. These stops do feel kind of tedious though, don't they, compared to the newer routes. Right, I'm actually looking at this on my mobile phone just now using my own data, not my domestic internet connection, and I can see it's absolutely crap quality that it's streaming just now. So I'm really sorry, there's not much I can do about it. It's supposed to have been fixed, apparently it bloody well hasn't. It does look like a blurry pixelated mess though, so there's probably not much point in me carrying on for the last few kilometres, so I think I'm just going to wind it up there and thanks very much as always, and shame to end it on this note, but hopefully we'll get the net up and running. It's a bit late at night to do anything about it now, but rest assured I'll be on the phone to them first thing tomorrow. So aye, thanks very much, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.